This is my second tutorial on Sonnymoon For Two. In the first tutorial I talked about the blues scale, the minor pentatonic scale and mixolydian scales. I also talked about the chord sequence using chords 1, 4 and 5 and also using more jazz harmony and inserting chords 6 and also 2 and 5. In this tutorial I'm going to talk a bit more about improvising and about how to play a solo. I'm going to play my sample solo first, which is on the PDF on my website. And this sample solo uses the blues and mixolydian scales. Okay. This sample solo has some chromatic notes. So the first note is, and I repeat that when I go to chord 4. The next phrase uses some ideas from the tune. Oops. Then the next phrase is very similar to the second bar and the first bar with the chromatic note. The next bar is very similar to the very first bar. And I'm using chord tones of G7 in this bar. And just a little ending phrase. And that last phrase is derived from the tune and it ends on a B flat. So the last chord really needs to be more of a sus chord, and a sus chord means that instead of having the root, the third, the fifth and the seventh, we put the fourth in instead of the third, so you get this kind of sound. And if I add some extra notes, you get this sort of sound. So it will sound like this. I'm going to play this solo and I'm going to vary it a little bit. So it shows once you've got an idea that if you just vary it, it can start to give you material to base your improvisation on. So. That was a slight variation on the original improvisation. The other thing is to take a phrase and vary where you put it in the bar, and this is a rhythmic exercise. So in each of my bars there are 4 beats in a bar and there are 8 quaver beats. So the first phrase that I use is on the and of 1, so it goes 1 and 2. So that phrase could be used in various parts of the bar. I'm going to start with it as an upbeat, so the first note will be on the and of 4, so it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then I'll move it to beat 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next one is as written on the and of 1, 3, 4, 1. Then I'm going to move it to beat 2, 1 and 2, sorry, I'm going to move it to the next beat, which is beat 2, yeah, 1 and 2. That was a little bit awkward because I do hear the first note as an upbeat. Now I'm going to do it on the and of 2, 1 and 2, which means the next bar is going into the next bar. So my last note ended on beat 1 of the next bar. Now I'm going to do it on beat 3, 1, 2, and again that one's a bit weird because it starts on the strong beat. I'm going to try on the and of 3, 1 and 2 and 3. And you can hear that those last two notes were in the next bar. On beat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the and of 4, that's where we started. So it's 3, 4. It's quite a good idea to try and play it on a certain beat constantly so you get used to that. So I'm going to try putting it on the and of 4 and make all my phrases start on the and of 4. So here we go. I'll just do a little intro. And a slight variation at the end. So you can see that varying the beat that your phrase begins on can have a nice effect. Obviously I did that all the way through. I'm just going to finish with varying that idea on various beats of the bar. I'm just going to keep it really simple just to show you. Okay. And rhythmic variation on a motive is something that, if you listen to Sonny Rollins, he does a lot of that. So that's the second part of Sonnymoon For Two and a tutorial on improvisation.